The AJC Peachtree Road Race is hosted by Atlanta Track Club with over 27,000 members and 18,000 volunteers. It's the second largest running organization in the country. The road race is not the only thing that Atlanta Track Club does. We have over 30 events on the calendar throughout the year. And those events, in addition to our training programs, high school activities, and our Kilometer Kids children's program, round out all of the things that we do to fulfill our mission of creating an active and healthy community. And the AJC Peachtree Road Race is it's the best showcase for that mission. Runners and walkers of all ages and all abilities are able to come out and participate and either continue a commitment to being healthy and fit, or for some, they are starting it with the road race. So it's a great event, and we are happy to have you all here. Next, to tell you a little bit more about the event, I'd like to introduce you to our Director of Marketing, Jay Holder.
Thanks, Mary, and thank you all for coming today to join us here at the 48th running of the AJC Peachtree Road Race. You know, with any 48-year-old tradition, it's very important for all of us here at Atlanta Track Club to keep the traditions that people love and keep people coming back to it, the AJC Peachtree Road Race, but also to add new and exciting elements each year to help tell our story and to help push forward the mission that Mary talked about of building a healthier and more active Atlanta. And just talk about some of those changes and some of the things that we're going to be keeping and all things AJC Peachtree Road Race. I want to bring up our Executive Director and the Race Director for the AJC Peachtree Road Race, Rich Canal. Morning, Rich. Yep. So Rich, I want to talk about first, it's July, it's Atlanta. Nothing out of the ordinary, but it is going to be hot and humid tomorrow, and we've sent out a warning to participants already, letting them know what conditions they can expect tomorrow.
Yeah, imagine that. It's going to be hot and humid in Atlanta on the 4th of July.
There's a microphone for you. Sure.
In all seriousness, we take safety and security very seriously here at Atlanta Track Club, and we've been following the weather for the last week. And in consultation with our medical branch, we made a decision late last night to start with a red flag. So that's a red flag in our event alert system. And what that means is we expect hot, humid conditions. And what does that mean for our participants? We want you to think about hydrating today. We want you to think about slowing down those first few miles. And then when you get across that finish line, hydrating again. So again, this is a red flag. It recognizes the heat and the humidity, but it is something that we will manage from our side. We have hundreds of volunteers in our medical branch who will make sure that we take good care of our participants, our volunteers, and our spectators out there on the course.
There are 5 water stops along the course that people should familiarize themselves with, learn those locations, and any changing to that messaging will be at those water stops?
Correct. So we reference, as I mentioned earlier, our event alert system. And our event alert system is a series of flags, and they're positioned at the start line, along the course at the fluid stations, and again at the finish line. By starting at red, we have the ability to message as we are today, but if for some reason we were to change and we were to go back down to yellow or green, or in the very unlikely instance where we would have to go to black. Black means you would cancel the race. Those flags let the participants on the course know, and the participants will receive the appropriate messaging at each fluid station.
Let's talk about the race tomorrow itself. This race has a rich history of having some of the best American runners cross the finish line first, from Jeff Galloway to Frank Shorter. Big names have won this race. This year we're bringing back the U.S. 10K Championships. Tell everybody a little bit about how that came to be and what that means for a race like the AJC Peachtree Road Race.
Sure. So the AJC Peachtree Road Race, this is the 48th running. We have a long history of attracting the world's best athletes, the world's best endurance runners, which is evidenced by some of our course records. For our men here, 27:03, I believe, is our course record. 27:04. You can run fast on this course, but you really need to attack it. But that's fast running. We feel as if in the 48th running, or we felt as if for the 48th running, we wanted to again celebrate our American stars here in Atlanta. No better place to do it, no better day to do it on the 4th of July. So again, we're very pleased to host not just the men's, but the women. So the men's and the women's USA 10K championships. So our winners this year will not only be our Peachtree champion, they'll be our US national champions.
They'll also win $10,000 if they cross the line first, both men and women.
That is correct.
And we'll hear from some of those athletes in just a couple of minutes. Another thing I want to ask you about, as people came in, they might have noticed video, and Amanda's about to pull it up now, of two runners, there they are, running side by side on treadmills and a clock that says 40 hours and 8 minutes. Rich, tell us a little bit about what's happening at the Peachtree Health and Fitness Expo.
Well, I can tell you about 48 hours and 8 minutes ago, I was standing on one of those treadmills with my daughter as we started out on that 48-hour journey. And the journey is around our Kilometer Kids Charity Chase. So some of you might remember a bunch of years ago we had Meb Keflezgi here in Atlanta, and he started as the last participant across the start line, raising money for our Kilometer Kids program. And in doing so, he passed about 23,000 people on Peachtree. This year we wanted to do something a little bit bigger, a little bit more bold. We want to raise money to resurface the track at Cheney Stadium. So the track at Cheney Stadium was the warm-up facility for the 1996 Olympic Games. We see that as a legacy of the city and one that needs to be well taken care of. So for 48 hours, we are raising money to resurface the track for Atlanta Public Schools, which operates that track, and for all the community, so that each and every day, boys and girls, adults, everyone will have universal access to a track here in Atlanta.
We've had a lot of involvement from people who are impacted by the track or who have impacted the sport greatly. Dan O'Brien helped us start this off. Shalane Flanagan ran on the treadmill yesterday. We do have a gold medalist running at 1:30 today from those 96 games.
Yeah, we're very pleased to have Gail Devers, who you may remember, Olympic gold medalist from 1996, arguably one of the best sprinter hurdlers in history. We're looking forward to having her on the treadmill at 1:30 and again telling our story about the impact of that track, Cheney track.
All right, thank you, Rich. And Rich will be available for questions and answers after the news conference this morning. Rich talked a little bit about the rich tradition of the foot race here at the AJC Peachtree Road Race, but there's also a very rich tradition in the wheelchair race. For 35 years, this race has hosted some of the best wheelchair races anywhere in the world. And the woman in charge of that is Becky Washburn from the Shepherd Center. She's our elite athlete coordinator for the wheeler division. Becky, thanks for joining us. Tell us a little bit about the history of this race and why it attracts such a great field each and every year since 1982.
So this is my 18th year here, and when I first started, we would attract about probably 100 to 130 racers. But along with our mission, Shepherd Center's mission is inclusion, and through that, there's so many more opportunities for athletes to race in any races. So even though our numbers are smaller, we're at 62 this year, we still get 10 to 12 new racers each year to help spread what we think a great race should look like, and that's what we continue to do here. We do have a very strong field. Our open men's division will feature Josh George, our returning champion.
Just up a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
You
got it.
I hate doing this, I'm so sorry. But
you're doing great.
Okay, anyway, I will be honest. I know you guys don't like public speaking either. So Josh George, our returning champion, is here. He's been racing really well. They're also going to have youngster Daniel Romacek, who won Cedartown yesterday, and we will be bringing back Cree Sabor, who has won 5 times here, and then we also have Josh Cassidy from Canada, who's won twice. All are racing well and expected to be top-notch. In our open women's, we have Tatiana McFadden, who in her own right, I don't have to say too much about, but she's really brought the sport around too, so her name is synonymous with wheelchair racing. And Amanda McGorry, who in 2007 won, hasn't won since Tot's been here. It will be back, so I look forward to a really, really fast race.
And we're going to hear from some of those competitors in just a second, but real quick, I want to ask you about the Shepherd Center, one of the best spinal rehabilitation centers in the country. Your involvement in this event is not just with the elite wheelers. You can see the Shepherd Center out on the course on race day.
Yes, if you ever get the chance to come to Shepherd Center and watch the race from the patient's perspective, this is where some of those aha moments happen, where they see, you know what, I can return to life, I can return to sport. And it's such an inspirational moment for them. And then the racers as well enjoy pushing up there and getting the support of our patients as well.
Thanks, Becky.
Thank you.
So we're just going to set up here and let 2 of our competitors come up.